So, when you want to figure out how healthy a business really is, what's the first thing you look at? I bet for most of us, it's the numbers, right? The financial reports, the balance sheet. But here's the thing, that's kind of like trying to drive a car by only looking in the rearview mirror.
See, your balance sheet, that's what we call a trailing indicator. It's a great report card for where your company has been. It tells you about the past, but your company's culture? Now, that's a leading indicator. It's like the crystal ball that shows you where your business is actually going. The real health, the future growth, it all comes down to your people.
Okay, so if culture is that important, how do you actually build a good one? Well, it starts with a pretty wild idea. You take the classic leadership model and you flip it completely upside down. We've all seen this picture a million times, right? It's been hammered into our brains. The leader's at the top, and the team's job is to work for them. But the big mistake here is thinking that the team's only purpose is to serve the leader. That's just not how amazing things get done. What's really interesting is that the companies that grow the fastest and are the most efficient, they do the exact opposite. They work off this one simple but super powerful idea. A leader's number one job is to serve their team. To get obstacles out of their way and give them what they need to crush it. And this drawing just nails that new model. Here, the leader is at the bottom, holding everyone else up, like a foundation. When you start seeing leadership as a service, you build this incredible base of trust. And guess what trust gets you? Speed. Just pure operational speed. Your team can move faster and be more creative because they know you've got their back. All right, so that's the big idea. But how do you actually do that? Let's get into a really practical tool that puts this whole thing into action. It's called the Human Audit. And don't worry, the name sounds way more intense than it is. A human audit is really just a simple, quick, regular check-in. This isn't a scary performance review. It's not about deadlines. The only goal is to figure out what truly, honestly motivates each person on your team. And really, just take a second and think about that. Do you actually know? Not what you think drives them, like just more money, but what they themselves would tell you. This isn't about being soft. It's about getting the real information you need to lead well. And the process is super simple. First, you just schedule some quick, informal chats. Seriously, 15 minutes is fine. Second, your only job in that chat is to listen and try to understand what makes that person tick. And third, you take what you learned and use it to line up their job with what actually gets them excited to come to work. So, what are we talking about here? These drivers can be anything. For one person, it might be all about autonomy, just the freedom to own their work. For somebody else, it might be about the money. Another person might care most about work-life balance, while their teammate is totally focused on climbing the career ladder. Here's the key. When you match someone's job to their core driver, their work just gets so much better. It's incredible. Okay, now let's flip this around and talk about the dark side. Because one of the biggest mistakes a leader can ever make is getting caught in the trap of the toxic high performer. I think we have all met this person. Maybe they're a sales wizard or a genius coder, but they leave a wake of drama and bad vibes wherever they go. They gossip, they make other people feel small, and the classic textbook mistake is to look the other way because their individual numbers look so good. This chart breaks down the real math of the situation. So see that big bar on the left? That's all the value that one person brings in. Looks pretty good, right? But then look at the bar right next to it. That's all the value that is lost across the whole team because of the negativity they create, all the good ideas that people are too scared to share. Suddenly, that individual gain is almost totally canceled out by the team's loss. Yeah, this kind of behavior is like a cancer on your culture. It just kills momentum, and you know what's even worse? It quietly pushes away your other star players, the ones who get fed up with the drama and just leave to go work somewhere better. And trust me, the cost of replacing them is way higher than one person's sales quota. So you really have to ask the tough question, and you have to be honest. Is that one person's performance really worth the hidden price you're paying every single day in morale, productivity, and good people walking out the door? So let's bring this all home. Because building a strong culture isn't some nice-to-have thing you give to HR. It's the absolute foundation for any kind of real, long-term growth. And that's really the bottom line. If you want a business that's built to last, you have to care more about the human stuff, like trust and respect, than you do about this quarter's profit report. One drives the other, not the other way around. And this right here is the ultimate takeaway. A company can have a great product, it can have a genius founder, but the one and only thing that lets a business grow beyond that first spark is the strength of its culture. That's the engine that keeps it all going.
So I'll just leave you with this one little challenge. Don't worry about trying to change everything overnight. Just think, what is the one conversation you can have with one person on your team this week that could make your culture just a little bit stronger? Because that's where it all begins.